don't want to overload you. No, don't. It's not a. I do not care. Yeah. First time in my life I'll need a stool. All right, SAIT Trojans, Kings, Red Deer Kings. I always forget that. We still got time. They don't start right away after the anthem, so we got a bit. All right, welcome back to the SAIT Trojans home opener here on Cohos Commons Field. I'm Simon Chaskovsky, joined by Jack Rosa. Up next here, we have the men's game in between the SAIT Trojans and the Red Deer Kings. And what we just saw just earlier here was the SAIT Trojans women's squad coming out with a win. Now we're going to get to see if the men's team can continue that winning run. Jack, what are you expecting out of these two men's squads?
I expect a very close game. Last year, each team got away with one win on the other, but SAIT Trojans did outscore them 8-3 overall. So a very close game and a very exciting game to start off the season.
And if I remember right, that lopsided score total ended up coming from a very, I believe a blowout game early in the season that Red Deer revenged in their second game. Nonetheless, both of these teams always bring it whenever they play against each other, and with it being the season opener, you know it's important. So we'll make sure to stick around as this one is about to get underway. Once again, Simon Chaskovsky, Jack Rosa, along with you for the entire game. Make sure to stick around. right, game underway here at Cohos Commons Field. SAIT Trojans in white, Red Deer Kings in green. As this one immediately just goes right out the side. And before we get into the action for good here, Jack, why don't you run us through the goaltenders in between the pipes?
Well, today we have Greco for the Trojans. This is his first ever start for the ACAC. Should be a good game to start off, especially on the Trojans team that have been so strong. As a ball nearly hits me in the head. And then for the Kings, I should say, it is Brian Murray, and he has been fairly good for 1-1, .804. Should be a good game for him too today.
Yep. And we saw Brian Murray getting most of the starts for Red Deer last season. He's back once again with his first save right on that crossing ball coming out of the crease to make that one. And he's going to toss this one far down the left side. Early, we've seen both teams flip the field quick. As we know, both of these teams play with a lot of speed. It was a big reason why this 9-1 Trojan squad was so good last season. Trojans working around their defensive zone. Pass down the right side here. Hale able to just bounce this one right in front. Another good save by Brian Murray. Both teams playing with a lot of speed vertically. As I mentioned, not afraid to send long balls, test out what they've got. As this one's stolen by Ito. Set up for Hale. Through ball there. Wasn't quite able to find its target. So we'll see Murray starting with the ball once again. Just 2 minutes gone here. Both teams still haven't gotten anything as for offense. This one's sent back to Greco. Sends a pass up to Tess David. Trying to find someone down Center Street, but it'll get stolen. Knocked off of his foot by Sine Hale. One of the veterans of this Trojan squad, has been on this team for a few years now. As this is a long pass down the right side. Trojans trying to get their offense going. They'll try and center it. Goes right by him. And ends up on the foot of Red Deer. Going back to get it here. Trojans not quite able to keep this one inside. Red Deer getting the throw in now. Tipped in front. Hale back to David. David, he's not afraid to run with it. Tries to center it, won't get it there. Put over his head. Rushing down the left side now. Trojans with a chance. Puts this one in front. But Ito not quite able to get there in time as it goes out the back.
Now, a good thing to know about this Trojans team, they have speed like you wouldn't believe. They will send this ball long down the field and just let their forwards go for it full speed ahead, and that's what they used last season to get a lot of their wins.
Definitely not a... When you're playing the Trojans, you have to play a lot of those defenders deep because of how fast they are. There's a chance in front goes wide. You're just going to struggle with the speed of those outside players. And it, like Jack mentioned, it's a thing that got them very far last season. We'll see Sine Hale getting this one. He's going to get the corner kick. Right in front. Header. Trojans get on the board early, just 4 minutes into this one. The captain.
That's the start you want to see for this Trojans team. Already up, not even 5 minutes into this game. And nonetheless, by the captain, showing his leadership, getting the first goal of this Trojan season.
Brock Mitchell with his first as a Trojan. The Kings now working around the defensive side. Didn't like what he saw, he'll flip. Sends a long one down the left side. Stopped by the Trojans defender and kicked right out. As Red Deer's now moving up. Stopped on the spot. David. Didn't like that tackle, as we're going to get a whistle on the play. As we're going to see a wall get created for Red Deer. It would be a long shot for the Trojans if they tried to put it on goal, but you never know. Got quite a few big legs on this men's squad. Sending this one in is going to be Ty Ritchie. Ritchie, he'll load up and fire. This one's sent in. Doesn't quite find a teammate. Ito pushing down the right side. He'll go down, and we're going to get a whistle. And it looks like the Trojans might be getting a free kick of some kind.
Shoot! Oh, I hit one.
We'll wait to see where this ball will be spotted. And it looks like it will go to the Trojans. And Brian Murray is going to be put on the spot here to try and prevent going down 2-0. It's going to be a penalty kick. Setting up to take this one will be Nunez for the Trojans. He'll walk back. And he'll go. Firing it on the left side and a diving save. Second try, won't go. Third one, diving save. What a stop by the Red Deer goalkeeper.
Absolutely amazing. Going from one side of the net all the way to the other to make two fantastic stops and to keep his team only down by one. A great job by Murray.
And it seemed like a foregone conclusion that the Trojans were going up 2. Absolutely spectacular play there from Brian Murray.
Good luck tomorrow. It's right there.
So we're going to see the Trojans re-awarded this one to Sanea Hale. Ty Ritchie's going to work it around. Ritchie to Ito. Greco with it now. Loads up and flips the field here, trying to find the captain. Finds Ito instead. He'll rush down the right side with it, centering it once again. Push past right through. Outside once again to Mitchell, trying to find a teammate. Won't get it through. Trojans continuing to push. Sine Hale with it. Ito, long shot and saved by Brian Murray.
Good shot by Ito on net. Brian Murray watched that thing with keen eyes and got that ball to keep this game underway.
Good job by the Kings here. This one's going to end up going out of bounds, though, as the Trojans are going to get a throw in here. 9 minutes gone so far. 1-0 Trojans off of the boot of Brock Mitchell. Or the head, I guess. It was a header after all. So we'll get a quick whistle. as we will wait for Red Deer to get a chance here in their own zone to start the breakout. Bajovic sends this one across. Kings through center. Trojans get the steal. Sending a long one down the right side. Back to Murray once again. Not a lot of offense so far for Red Deer, but maybe a chance here. Pushing down the left side, has a runner on the right. Puts it on goal instead, and Greco won't even have to make a save on that one. This one's kicked through center, trying to find Hale. Gets turned over instead. It'll be sent back to the goaltender. Tess David now rushing down the right side. Ito all alone on the right side, and no one's keeping up with him. Brian Murray coming out to grab it as Ito just put a little bit too much space between him and the ball.
Obviously, this Trojans team very strong. Finished second overall in the standings, but they were the best team in the South.
And had some steep competition in the South as well, if I remember right, with the Lethbridge Kodiaks putting up quite a fight all season long. Murray out through center here, sends it outside. Red Deer with their own a breakout of their own. Has to turn back. Down the right side here, a rush for Red Deer. Fernandez. Some sweet feet there. Puts it up high, and that goes in. Red Deer ties it, 1-1. It's a bit of bad luck there for the Trojans. Results in Fernandez burying his first of the season as he gets tipped high and at an awkward angle. Greco just wasn't quite able to stop it.
That's what you want to see if you're a Red Deer fan. Tying up this game against a powerhouse of a team like the SAIT Trojans. That ball went just over the head of the goaltender and just bounced in. And now we have a tie game after just 13 minutes and 33 seconds.
Ito on the outside now. And they just confirmed it as well. Jackson Fernandez, excuse me, picking up the goal on that one. David with it. Sends it to the right side, threading the needle. Nunez with it. Back to the right side once again. In the corner, centering shot, it bounces high, and Brian Murray jumps up and grabs it. We're in the 14th minute here of the first half. 1-1 is your score after goals from the Trojans, Brock Mitchell, and the Kings, Jackson Fernandez specifically, because I believe he does have a brother on the team, in Ishe Fernandez. As we'll get a quick whistle here, and it looks like there's a player down in the backfield. The ref will go over to check on him, and we'll wait to see if he'll need the trainer. And it looks like they will be calling the trainer out here. Hopefully he's all right. Looks like he was able to get back to his feet on his own, which is always good to see. It looks like the trainer will not be needed. And we're going to get another whistle right after the play starts back up as the player went back down. And it looks like this time we will be seeing the trainer come out to check on Red Deer's players. That's Grant Johnson down. Still make sure to quickly check on him, make sure he's all right. Both teams will head to their benches, taking the chance to get some water in them on this very, very warm day, as I believe we've probably now hit 30 degrees. We have! Would you look at that? It's felt like 30 all day long, but just now we have hit 30 degrees. Not a cloud in sight, so we've got a very blue sky today here over Cohos Commons Field.
It looks like it might be something with his leg. The trainer's working down on his leg. Maybe he pulled something, maybe he pulled a muscle, who knows, but hopefully he's okay.
And since they're going to let him walk it off here, it's a safe assumption that he's going to be okay, which is very good to see. Nobody likes to watch a player go down, especially this early in the season. It's no fun for anybody, as it looks like we're going to get ready here to get back underway. I assume the Trojans are going to be starting with the ball, as they did when the play got resumed originally the first time. I believe Tio Michel Greco had the ball. And it looks like that will remain the same. So we are at the 17th minute mark. 1-1 is your score, but hasn't necessarily been a showing of how this game has looked, as the Trojans have had plenty of offensive chances. Red Deer capitalized on their one really big one, and we're at a tied game. Ito rushing through center here with speed down the left side, pushes back towards the right. Some nice feet to hold on to it, but he'll get it knocked off of him. Red Deer now heading through center. Sarcevic gets it knocked off of his foot, and all the way back to Brian Murray. As we talked about last year, Murray, very, very good season for him in between the pipes of Red Deer, going 4-1-1, which means that he won 4 of the Red Deer's 5 games. Very impressive season from him. Doing a great job to earn the starter spot and show why he deserves it. Trojans now rushing down the right side on the set play, and diving Brian Murray. Wasn't quite able to get there, but it won't matter as that one goes out the side.
Trojans are pushing hard now. They've got great speed in their legs. Like Ito, for example, amazing runner. Can run with that ball really fast, and they've gotten a good shot off there, but it just went wide of the net.
This one's going to go out of bounds. Red Deer with the throw-in. Well, little under halfway through our first half. 1-1 is your score. David stopping it there. Trojans trying to set up their offense on the foot of the captain. Mitchell, not afraid to walk with it here. Sends it back towards a defender. Guide. Long pass, trying to find Hale. Finds Brian Murray instead. Brian Murray directing his defense. This one gets rocketed over center. Red Deer is going to lose this one, and it'll go all the way back to Greco. Ritchie Tries to center it for Hale. It'll get stolen. King's rushing up now. Didn't quite get it off, and a massive shot goes all the way into the construction fence, and we were so close to our first construction ball of the season. I was talking with Jack before the game, telling him about how last year we had quite a few balls go into that construction site just behind the field there. I'm going to do my best to try and keep track and see how many we lose and how many new toys those construction workers get over the course of the season. Down the right side here, Richie is going to try and make sure it goes out of bounds. Ends up kicking it to the goaltender instead. That was a pretty impressive play, honestly.
Yeah, he had that Red Deer King on his back. Best thing he could do was get it to his goaltender, and he did. That was quite the play, considering how close they were to the out-of-bounds line.
Hale, long shot down the right side now. Fernandez with it. Nunez to Hale. Inside for Nunez, rushing up. Back to... So this one's just going to go right out of bounds. Right to where me and Jack are sitting here. Brian Murray with it. This is going to go far now. Going back to chase it. Trojans down the right. Ito with it. This one's going to get put right back out of bounds and into the netting on the far side of the field there. David. Sending this one over to Hale. Hale down the left side. Finds Shaffy. So we're going to get a whistle, and it looks like Red Deer will get this one right back in their own zone. 23 minutes gone now. 1-1, still your score. Both goalies have only been beaten that one time, as we're back sitting in a tie. The Trojans had a really strong goals for and goals against average last season, which was part of why they were so successful. Because obviously when you have a good offense and a good defense, generally you win games. It's a safe assumption. They had a goals for percentage of 4.9 and a goals against average of 0.3. As we've got another whistle here. And it looks like we'll be getting a timeout, giving all the players out there a chance to refresh and make sure they're ready for when the game continues once again here. Because like we've pointed out multiple times, it's a very hot day today. 30 degrees and sunny as could be, as couldn't really have asked for a more perfect day to start our soccer season, or get our soccer season underway, excuse me. As it's a bit of a September, what's the word? September heat. Something or other.
Heat wave?
Heat wave, there you go, you got it. That's why Jack's here, to remember all the words that I forget. As it is very hot out here today. 25 minutes gone here in the first half. 1-1 still your score. their team starting to join them out there. Red Deer Kings last season, a really, really strong team at home, going 4-1 when playing up in Red Deer, but struggled whenever they played on the road, going 1-2-2. So they're looking to try and break that pattern this season. Obviously a fairly good start in their first road game and first game of the season, 1-1, hanging in there with one of the best teams in the ACAC. This one's put right out of bounds, and we'll see another throw in here from Red Deer. So we're going to see Greco get a chance to kick this one out for the Trojans. As this Red Deer team was the one squad that was able to beat the Trojans in the regular season last year in what was a very close game. This one's going to be nuked down the right side. Ito rushing in, trying to get it by Brian Murray, who's continuing to fight for it. He'll get knocked down, and we're going to have a yellow card in the air, I believe.
Brian Murray, I believe, is going to get that. He was way out of his crease, playing very aggressively, trying to get rid of the ball, and he'll be getting the first yellow card today.
Wow. First one we've seen all day as well, not only just in this men's game. In the women's game before, we didn't see a single card. Brian Murray getting the first one as he starts to line up the wall. Taking it. It would appear that this is one is going to end up coming off the stick, or the foot of Guy.
Too much hockey, son.
Too much hockey.
Too much hockey.
That's still a month away. What am I doing? Guide with the shot here, going left of that post.
Had a rocket of a leg too. Absolutely powered the ball through everyone, and Murray was able to get that ball away from his net and keep this a tied game at just past 28 minutes.
Murray sends this one out to his defender. Now down the left side of the field. The Kings trying to keep this one in, but it'll end up going off his foot. And now the Kings are rushing down. But we'll get a quick whistle as we'll see this one restarted. 28 minutes gone here. 1-1, still your score. Trojans tried to break that tie on that last free kick, but weren't quite able to beat Brian Murray, who has had to be very solid. There's a long kick here. As the Red Deer player went for a few rolls there on that last play.
Fans very much not too pleased with his actions for both players, I hope.
Red Deer pushing through now. This one's going to get nuked down the left side. Stopped on the spot. Trojans with it. Sent backwards. Back in the defensive zone. Cross to the other side for Ty Ritchie. Ritchie up to Sine Hale. Ritchie didn't like what he saw. Back to his goaltender. Goalkeeper over to Ritchie. To the other side. Trojans trying to spread out this Kings defense as we have now hit the 30th minute. 15 minutes left here in the first half. Tess David. Hale. Rockets this one over to Ito. Ito to Hale. Hale finds David. Rockets this one, and that one would impress Justin Tucker. Got quite a lot of vertical clearance, but wasn't quite able to get that one under the crossbar. This one's going to get sent far. Trojans grabbing it back in their own defensive zone. Ooh, Brian Murray making the athletic diving save.
Quite a play there. Kicked it to the off the outside of his foot, and Murray had to make a quick stop there before that ball could have an awkward bounce and possibly go into the back of his own net.
The Trojans get it back in their own zone after the long kick from Murray. And Murray has been standing on his head since letting in that early Trojans goal. Mitchell gets the steal, but doesn't get to hold on to it for too long, as it's quickly taken right back from him. Mitchell finds Hale. Hale to Ito. Ito finds Nunez over to David. David down the left side now. This one's over to Lemke. Lemke back to Hale. Through ball. Tries to set something up, but this one's just going to get rocketed back down the field by a Red Deer defender. And the Trojans will have to restart. Kings with it down the left side. Tries to send a run for his teammate. It'll get intercepted. Trojans with it again. Ito on the right side. Ball over to Nunez. Nunez to David. David through center. Over to Mitchell. Ito. And this one's just going to get sent all the way back down the field. Trojans have to restart at center. Nunez with it. Over to Ito once again, sending this one across. Pushing in here. He has a lane. Over to Hale. Sent back to David. David. Hale again. Cross to Lemke. Up high. David up high in the slot. Rushing down the left to the far corner. Pushing in here to David once again. Centering it back to David. Rushing in. He'll get tackled. And Red Deer's heading the other way. Nunez stopping it. As the Trojans turn it back over and continue to hold the ball in the Red Deer half of the field.
Some amazing ball work and keeping the ball for the Trojans today. They've been passing that ball, keeping it in their possession, and it is working pretty well for them so far.
This will be a long ball, and it's going to go far too. Chaffee has to go to the corner to grab it. Doing a good job to retain possession. Over to Lemke. Lemke, cross to Hale. Hale centering it for David. Over to David once again, as he sends this one back out. Lemke Setting this one into center for Nunez. Red Deer player will end up hitting the dirt. As now the Trojans getting it back here at center. This one is sent all the way to the left side of the field. Long pass for Ito, doesn't quite get there. The Trojans get a throw in right along their bench here. They're going to walk this one along the left side now. Sending it over. Rush up for the Trojans. Lemke, through ball, not quite able to get it to Mitchell. This one's turned back over by the Trojans here. Pushing up, stolen by David. He fakes the shot, runs right. He's looking for a teammate. Centering this one, tries to find Mitchell. Back to Hale. Hale over to David. David is going to get a lot of airtime with this one. Lemke over to Nunez. This one's going to get put right back on Brian Murray. And Red Deer is going to try and head the other way. Richie. To Nunez. Nunez has some moves. He'll send it back to the defender before getting it right back. Long ball here for David, trying to find a striker down the left side. Trojans along the sideline here. Richie with it. Guide. Long pass down the right side, finds David. Richie once again, back to David. David's going to push up with Ito. Ito tries to send a through ball, wasn't quite able to find Shaffy. On the other side, Red Deer pushing up, sending it right back to the goalkeeper. And the Trojans head the other way once again. We haven't had as much offense here in the second half of the first half, if you will, second quarter. As a lot of the offense for the Trojans came within the first 20 minutes, and that could be said the same about Red Deer in a lot of ways. Running down the right side here. Ty Ritchie with it. Fakes the pass, goes back over to center. Red Deer working around their defensive zone now. 40 minutes gone now. 5 minutes left here in the first half. Stolen by Lemke. Lemke rushing up. Tries to find Hale on the other side. Hale not quite able to get the angle to get that shot off.
it's been pretty even matchup so far today, and the score shows it. After 40 minutes, still tied 1-1. Both teams working the ball pretty well in their favor. This is definitely going to be a close one coming down to the wire.
And that's definitely a good thing here as well, as Red Deer's done an excellent job keeping themselves in this one. Mitchell, absolutely incredible effort to tip that one right by Murray as he grabs his second of the game.
Just as I say, even Trojans out of nowhere get a quick trick play, and they will put it in the back of the net. 2-1 just after 41 minutes of play.
As we see the frustration from Brian Murray, not too happy to let that one in. I don't know how you could be. It's that one not necessarily his fault, as those types of saves for soccer goalkeepers are always very tough. Anytime they have to run out of the goal to try and put it wide, it's not going to be easy. Red Deer with it here at center. Trojans now up 2-1. 2 goals coming off of the foot of Brock Mitchell. This one goes far. Not quite into the construction zone, but that's now 2 that have hit the fence. As somebody has now returned that ball back to the field. The construction workers probably not too happy, haven't gotten any toys to play with on their lunch break quite yet. Mitchell with a nice play. He's got Ito with him. Ito pushing up, and that time Murray was able to get the better of him.
Impressive move there by the Trojans. Ito had the ball and he was blazing down center field, but when he tried to kick the ball, it just went a bit too far in front of his own feet, and Murray was able to clear it as the Trojan player got shoved down to the ground right there.
As he's going to go down, and the goalkeeper is going to come out of his net to quickly check on him. We'll wait to see if he is all right or if he's going to need some assistance. It looks like he's going to be okay. And that's very good to see here. Obviously a hot day, a lot of things could be affecting these players, and you never want to see injuries. Good to see him return to his feet here. As we did see one player in our first game have to deal with the consequences of heat stroke. So you never want to see that. You want everybody to leave this game feeling as healthy as the way they started it, or at least that's the hope. We are approaching the 44th minute, just a little under a minute 30 left here in the first half. Red Deer with it at center. Richie over to Lemke. To David. David down the right side, finds Hale. He'll slow things down, walks it in, and Murray making a diving save to keep his team within 1.
Murray has been putting in the work in this first half. He's had some amazing saves, truly highlight worthy for this game, and I expect to see that continuing into the second half.
As he has been without a doubt the best player on this Kings squad thus far through 45 minutes. And if they want a chance to get back in this one, he's going to have to continue to play as well. Ito has it in the corner. Launches it. This one's high. Trying to fight a teammate. Header, and the Trojans grab a 2-goal lead. this one coming off of the head of Veron Guide. Is an excellent play there by the tall defender to get up in the air and beat the goalkeeper. Not a lot Brian Murray could do on that one.
And you have to think, like, that pass out of the corner with the kick, absolutely amazing. And then right into the header, into the goal, and the Trojans, right before 45 minutes, get a 2-goal lead, I should say.
And what a play by Veron Guide as well. Just an excellent defensive player coming up and making an offensive play when he's needed. And this one's going to get turned over. Red Deer getting her right back. Now down 3-1 after that goal, as we're in extra time currently in the first half. 3-1 is your score. Trojans lead off of goals by both Mitchell, Brock Mitchell that is, picking up 2, and Veron Guide, who grabbed that last one. Long pass. That'll be Greco sending that one out. Ito trying to get it out of the defensive zone, able to find a teammate. The Trojans continue to work. Back to Ito. Greco. Over to Richie. Lemke. He'll retain possession after that slide tackle attempt. Long pass as that one's put just wide of Ito and nearly into the scorer's table.
An amazing pass by Greco all the way up to Lemke that could start off this play. But now the ball will have to be thrown in by the Kings as we're in the extra time of this first half.
This one's going to go out of bounds. We'll see the Trojans recover. And we'll get a whistle on that play. There's a bit of contact along the right sideline, right in front of the Kings bench. And it looks like the Trojans will be getting it back with a chance for a free kick on the spot. It's going to be a long one coming off of the leg of Ty Ritchie. But we've seen that this Trojans team is not afraid to send these long kicks in on goal. He isn't either. Launching this one, David, header, and a diving save by Murray. Sends it wide, but the Trojans should be getting a corner kick.
I cannot say it enough. Murray has been putting in the work in this first half. If he wasn't in net, I don't know what the score would be.
He's had to make quite a few of those athletic dives. That is certainly not his first. And I'm sure if Red Deer wants to keep this one close, he'll have to continue to do so. And I'm sure that's the game plan for them. Going into the second half here, at least as we start to get close, I'm sure Red Deer is going to want to try and figure out a way to get some more offense going. This one is starting to get set up. Nunez over to David. Kicking this one in. Headed right out, and that will do it for the first half of play. 3-1 is your score. Trojans lead after an impressive first 45 minutes. Both me and Jack will be right back with you once play gets back underway. All right, welcome back to the second half of men's soccer action here. You're watching the SAIT Trojans home opener and season opener. They're currently playing the Red Deer Kings. I'm Simon Chaskovsky here with Jack Rosa. We'll have the call for you in the final 45 minutes or so here. 3-1 is your score. So the Trojans had a very strong first half led by their captain, Mitchell, who did a really good job scoring 2 early goals. Red Deer trying to get some offense going as they're down by 2. SAIT charging through, that's Nunez. He centers it. This will be set up for Ito. Looks like he'll be able to find it in time. Charging through center, and that one end up getting sent out the sideline. There's some great play there by the Trojans. Quickly gets interfered. Now Red Deer is heading the other way. The Kings sending a run into that far left corner, trying to center it. Trying to do it all alone, and looks like we'll be getting a whistle. And Red Deer is going to have to give this one up.
So far, a strong start for the Trojans. Got some great early momentum, but Red Deer have been locking them down so far in the second half.
And that's how it's got to start for Red Deer as well. They've really got to just up the pressure and see if they can get a little bit more action in front of Greco. Red Deer not letting the Trojans set up in the offensive zone. This one's going to go out of bounds. Neither bench seems all too happy about it. Both wanted a call. Neither are going to get it. Knocked backwards. This one's turned awry by Hale. Red Deer on the rush. Beats the first defender. Greco knocks that one wide to keep his team's lead.
An amazing sliding save from Greco. Red Deer had a prime opportunity to get this to a 1-goal game, but Greco made that stop, and now it looks like we're going to be getting a corner kick from Red Deer.
Red Deer getting ready to take it from the corner. Sends this one far and out, as it's going to go back out the other sideline. We have just now hit the 49th minute. Trojans are going to get the throw in. Pushing through center now. They're trying to break out of their own zone, able to find Mitchell. Mitchell to Ito. Ito rushing down the right side. Ito, some quick feet. He'll go right. Bombs this one through center, but won't find a teammate. Mitchell able to recover it on the other side. Ends up finding Lemke. Lemke, long shot, goes far wide of that right post.
Ito, you can run as fast as you can, and you can stop on a dime. Made a great pass, but the defense of the Kings was able to deflect that ball, which could have stopped a very much good attempt at a goal there for the Trojans.
So we get our first real sub of this one for the Trojans here in the second half. Carter Hunter coming in on the defensive side. He'll end up replacing Veron Guide, the goal scorer from the first half. Back to Brian Murray. Through center. David turns on a dime, sends it over to Nunez. Nunez to Ito. Ito, he's going to push this one in. Mitchell ends up sending him into the side, put in front. Chance for Hale, out to Mitchell. That one won't quite go. And Red Deer is now going to head the other way. Or at least they tried to. So it goes back out the sideline. Throw in here for Red Deer. Shays Green. Oilwell down the right side, sends this one to Fernandez, the goal scorer. He's going to rush in, hands it off. Red Deer with a chance. Back to the corner. Puts this one in on goal, but Jacob Hunter steps in front of it. Hale with it. Hale sends a long pass here for Mitchell, who didn't quite get there in time.
I think during that last bit of play there, when Murray went out to stop the ball from Mitchell, he may have slid a bit awkwardly on the legs and may have hurt himself just a little bit. But glad to see he's okay and still standing to continue this game.
Looked like no bad blood either between Mitchell and Murray. Shared a quick fist bump after their collision. Hale sends this one down the left side, trying to center it for Mitchell, or Nunez, excuse me, but it'll end up going straight to Murray, who tries to get his offense going once again. David ends up with the steal. Tess David pushing down the left side, beats two defenders, but ends up having it turned over. Red Deer now trying to head the other way. He's got it. Fernandez back down the field, finds Carter Hunter. Hunter to Hale. Through to Nunez. Hunter over to Hale. He's going to bomb this one down the left side. Lemke's going to try and run for it, but won't get too far as it goes out the side. About 10 minutes gone here in the second half. 3-1 is your score. Trojans up by a score of 2. Red Deer on the rush, trying to break this one out. It's stolen by Hale. Hale sets up Ito. Ito. It'll end up going wide left of the net of Brian Murray.
Great attempt by the Trojans there, especially Ito. He was in the prime position for it, but the ball would just roll to the side of the net, and it will remain a 3-1 game after 54 minutes of play.
This one's going to end up flying to the top of the net. So it's going to go all the way back down the field. David's going to get the steal here at center. And we've barely seen this ball in the Trojans' half of the field so far here in the second half of things. Hunter up to David. David finds Nunez. Nunez outside. Lemke sends a centering ball in on goal. It'll get blocked, put back in the air. Seemed like people thought that there was a whistle when there wasn't. As both teams continue to play on. Hale. Set this one far to Lemke. Able to hold the zone. Pushes off a defender. Before sending this one back into the defensive zone. And Ritchie and Hunter. Back to the goalkeeper. And we're going to have a whistle. And it looks like there's a player down for the Kings in their defensive zone.
And you like to see that. Trojan helping out the King while he's down on the ground, making sure he's okay, helping with the trainer for any injury that could be there. Great sportsmanship there.
So we wait to see if there's going to be a trainer needed, and one has come to the field here. We'll let both teams head to their respective huddles while he gets some help. And the Kings player has returned to his feet. And it would appear that we're about to get back underway here. We are at the 57th minute of the second half so far. 3-1. SAIT Trojans lead. And with that whistle, we'll get things back underway. Starting with the ball will be the Trojans in their own defensive zone. Ritchie and Hunter go D to D. This is going to be a long ball here for Hale down the right side. He'll follow it to the corner. Has Ito with him. Hale fighting to create some space. Back up to Ito. Ito to Hunter. This one's going to go all the way back to the goalkeeper. And a long ball here. Goes flying over center. And right out of bounds.
What a kick. That ball went way higher than any other ball I've seen so far today.
Definitely had a lot of momentum behind it. And the Kings are going to get a throw in. This one's going to get launched through center. Trojans with the steal. Ritchie has it now. Down the left side. Inside for Nunez. Nunez trying to get around that second defender. Won't quite get there, and it looks like there'll be a throw-in. This one's going to make its way back to Tess David. David back to Hunter. Ito rushing down the left side. It gets knocked off his foot. And Red Deer starts their breakout. Won't get too far, though. And it'll be quickly turned back over. The Trojans now start to break out of their own defensive zone. David is going to end up having to run through a little bit of contact as we get a whistle. And it looks like we have a player down once again on that far side. So he'll get some help. Trainer quickly coming in to check on him, make sure he's all right. So we've now crossed over the 60th minute of this one. Trojans up 3-1 over the Kings, and things are continuing to heat up as the day goes on. We've now hit 31 degrees here at Cohos Commons Field. Not a cloud in sight.
Along with this heat is a lot of bugs, as I just made a new friend with a little black and yellow wasp. Friend unwanted, I should say.
Wasp season has certainly been unfriendly here to us in Calgary. And it looks like we're going to get a sub. As going off is going to be Fabian Guzman Nunez, who's had a very good game so far as a ball carrier. I don't believe he has a goal, but he did a really good job setting up a lot of the goals that the Trojans currently have on the board. And with some help, Jackson Fernandez is going to make his way over to the sideline and get some help. And hopefully he ends up being all right, as you never like to see a player like that, who obviously he scored the first goal of the season for Red Deer. You never like to see a player like that go down. So the Trojans with a near chance that gets kicked out of the slot, and Red Deer's now making their way down the sideline. Sent right back to him, and a long kick, as this one's going to go all the way down the field.
An impressive defensive play there by Red Deer, able to stop the ball from going towards and into their net. And now we'll get thrown by the Trojans.
And having the awareness as well to realize how dangerous that situation was and to just get rid of it. It doesn't matter where it ends up as long as it's not behind you in between those two posts. Hale's going to end up going down here, as that's a quick whistle. He's going to get helped up by Brock Mitchell as the Trojans get ready for a free kick. Trojans preparing to load the box here, sending in quite a few of their defensive midfielders. And with that whistle, we're underway. Hale sends it high, looking for a header, won't find one. Ends up over on the other side. Mitchell centers it once again, and Red Deer sends it right out away. This will take a long kick all the way into the defensive zone of Red Deer, where it'll get thrown all the way down the field by Brian Murray. Red Deer on the rush here with a chance, facing some defensive pressure, but that one goes just left of the post after some great goaltending there. Greco has remained very solid so far in the second half. The Trojans getting a throw in from their own defensive corner. Trying to send this one long down the sideline. First one to get it will be Mitchell after a Red Deer header into center. And the Trojans head down the other side. Mitchell's with it. Mitchell sees Ito. Ito with a chance, runs around the goalkeeper, and he'll bury that one. Trojans jumping up 4-1.
Ito with an impressive footwork to deke out Murray and put the ball in. It is 4-1 after 65 minutes. What a game by the Trojans so far.
And they continue to show exactly why they went 9-1 last year. Just showing spectacular talent against a Red Deer team that is very good in their own right. But the Trojans are really trying to just put their best foot forward here early in the season. Ito was a big part of that 9-1 season last year. I believe he was top 3 in the team in goals, if memory serves me correctly. So the Red Deer striker and Teo Michel Greco collide there in the corner. See the Trojans get it right in front of the goal. 25 minutes left here in the second half of play. Sending this one across to Carter Hunter. Hunter to Ito. Ito once again centering it, setting it up, loading up and firing, but that one goes off of the leg of Ty Ritchie, who's able to clear it. Before it'll go out of bounds right by the Red Deer bench. David had to go high for that one. That's a long kick and nearly gets fumbled by Brian Murray there. But he makes the save regardless.
That shot had a lot of power, and you can see as soon as he hit his hands that it just hit the ground. Such a strong kick there from the Trojans.
Pushing in here. Through center. Blast that one off the post. There's a very, very near chance there for Finn LeBlanc. Goes awry. Tess David with it at center. He's going to end up going down.
Obviously, Red Deer not too pleased with the call there, as the Trojans, I believe, will get the ball after this. And they're disputing with the ref's claim, but ref's decision is final in most cases.
Yeah, it's not too often that you hear.
And just then, because of their actions, a yellow card will be given out to Red Deer.
Not the first one they've got in this game, as Brian Murray got one earlier today. Logan German is entering the game here. Leaving it will be our most recent goaltender, Ito.
Goal scorer, you'd say Ito with, again, that impressive goal at the very few minutes into this second half, as the Trojans now look to set up another play.
Along the sideline, goes all the way back towards the goal of Greco, who's just going to stop with it and hand it off to Carter Hunter. Trojans continuing to work this one around the defensive zone. Back to Hunter. Hunter rockets this one through center to Hale before it gets turned over.
And another whistle blown from the referee as the SAIT Trojans player is down on the ground. Red Deer starting to get fed up with all these whistles on them, but the player is still on the ground. Looks like he's clutching his right thigh there. Hope he's okay.
And you never like to see stuff like this, as I believe that's Tess David down on the field. And we're going to see the trainer for the Trojans come out to take a look at him, make sure that he's all right. In the meantime, we'll see both teams head back to their respective huddles and game plan the final 20 minutes or so. And Red Deer still looking for really any offensive chances they can find. So they had that first goal early in the game, I believe within the first 20 minutes. That was scored by Jackson Fernandez, which came off with a little bit of luck as well, as I believe it was tipped in by a Trojan. And since then, it feels like they really haven't gotten that much offense on the Trojans goaltender, Greco. As we've just been waiting for them to step on the gas here, and time is continuing to quickly run out. Tess David back to his feet, and it looks like he's going to walk off on his own, which is very good to see, especially on any play where a player goes down grabbing any part of his leg. Seeing something like that, especially no limp, very good to see, as the hope is obviously no injuries. You never want to see anything like that, especially this early in the season. As both teams get ready here to return to the play. Looks like Tess David is going to be leaving the game and taking a seat on the bench. As both goalies head back in between their respective creases. And it's been a very respectable first ACAC game for Tio Michel Greco, who's had a very, very strong showing through 73 minutes, only one goal allowed, and he's had to save a few. As the Trojans have to be happy with their rookie goalkeeper so far. And with this kick, we're back underway. Sent over center. Long boot, trying to send it back into the Trojan zone. Doesn't get too far. As now they rush in. Ty Ritchie with it. Ritchie down the left side over to Hale. This one's going to get sent over to LeBlanc. Sent over as they try and thread the needle, but it'll get turned back over, and the Trojans restart their offense in the defensive zone now. Just 15 minutes remain here. So it looks like we're going to see Tess David return to the game, which is very good to see after he went down just a few minutes ago. The Trojans chose to play down a man, and he has returned to the field of play. Long shot in deep for Mitchell. He'll try and center it before it goes flying right out, and the Trojans get ready for a corner kick. Hale getting ready to take it from the corner. Sending it in off the head, but it didn't quite go in the direction that he wanted it to. Red Deer trying to break out, finds Tess David alone at center. To the other side to Hale. Hale. David sending it over to Lemke. Lemke down the left side now. So we get a quick whistle. And we'll have to wait and see what ends up coming from it. As Red Deer not afraid to be vocal towards how they feel about that last call, as the Trojans are going to get a free kick in the offensive zone. As a long kick here gets into the box before getting kicked up in the air. David holding the zone. Backwards to Richie. Richie finds Lemke. Back to Greco. The goalkeeper is going to send it down the left side here. Trojans trying to get out of their own zone as we quickly approach the 80th minute. Hunter. Back all the way to Greco. They'll push up here. The Trojans starting to work this one around the outside of the zone. He'll spin on that last play. So the Trojans are trying to fight this one out of their own zone. So we've got a player down in the backfield. Mitchell continuing to work this one up. David with a long ball over to Lemke. Trying to hold on to it, but won't quite be able to. Red Deer down the right side now. As we see David just launch this one back out to the center line, but will get thrown right back. This will be a long ball. Red Deer getting the throw in. Back to Murray. As while this game has very much ran away from Red Deer, it is not too late to go into their next one with a little bit more momentum. There's a strong final 10 minutes here. Could definitely help with morale and help on the general outlook going into the rest of the season. Red Deer continuing to push forward, but runs into Hunter. David with it, charging through center. And a Red Deer player ends up hitting the dirt. And we're going to get a yellow card here.
That's 3 yellow cards today, all for Red Deer. You have to think the coach may be not so happy with how rough they're playing right now. Yes, you're down by 3, but don't take unnecessary stuff to get yourself a yellow card.
Yep, not a lot of discipline. And you never like to see stuff like that. And it also means that the players who get those yellow cards have to play a lot more carefully, which is the biggest downside of those yellow cards, because once you have those warnings, it only takes one more yellow and you're gone for a few games. Red Deer pushing up, and we'll end up getting a whistle. And another. As we're getting a lot of yellow cards here. This time, we'll be getting one on the Trojans.
Now SAIT getting caught up in a bit too rough of play as they'll be taking their first yellow card already. That's for today. I have no idea what to say right now.
With 3 of them being on Red Deer as well. Which is 2 in the last minute. If you want to look at it like that. As Red Deer gets ready for this free kick. Trojans setting up the wall. Lining up to take this one is Sarcevic. He's going to launch this one high, and Greco makes a good save. As I'm sure both squads are hoping that's the last yellow card we see for today. Trojans breaking out. David sends a long pass. Chance in front. Won't get too far, and he ends up knocking over the goalkeeper. And Murray's going to be slow to his feet before he sets up a long kick here. And that one's going to go far. Just 7 minutes left here in regular time for the second half. We are in the 83rd minute. 4-1 is your score. Trojans leading. As we're going to see a Trojan getting knocked down. Things continuing to just get more physical as time goes on. So it looks like a warning going over to Sarcevic. Before the Trojans get back underway, it's a long ball right into the chest of a Red Deer defender. Mitchell with it. Mitchell sending it through center, but a little bit too much on that one as they weren't quite able to find German. This one's going to go all the way back to Greco. This one's going to get launched, picked up at center. Lemke with it. Up high, finds LeBlanc. Trojans with it. Hale moving down the right side before it gets put out of bounds. And the Trojans get a throw in here. We are in the 85th minute now. 4-1 is your score. Trojans certainly taking care of business in their first game of the season. This one's going to go all the way right in front of that scores table. And back to Greco. Trojans trying to set something up in front, and that makes things 5-1.
And I believe that was Mitchell who scored his third of the game, a hat trick in the first game of the season. A strong start for the Trojans captain.
Can't start things better than a Hattie, that's for sure. As that is a massive accomplishment for him, and what I believe is his first game in the ACAC as well. One heck of a start for him, that's for sure. Three and a half minutes left in the second half here, not including extra time. We'll have to wait and see how much gets added to the clock once we get there. And I will say I've been fairly impressed by Teo Michel Greco in between the pipes for the Trojans. Has done a very good job for his first ACAC start. And we'll get a quick whistle here. And Red Deer starting with it at center. This one's launched through center, all the way past Mitchell, and Murray grabs it. Four goes all the way back down the field and playing a bit of goalie pong. David back to his closest defender. Trojans working their way around the defensive zone. Trojans gonna get a corner kick here. After Red Deer defender was the last one to touch it. And we're gonna get a last minute sub here as well, as leaving the game is gonna end up being Trojans captain Brock Mitchell. After a hat trick performance, he's gonna give the captain band over to Sine Hale. As Alec Wells makes his debut for the Trojans. Hale with it from the corner. Launches this one into center. Off the head! And that one is going to be put in by Carter Hunter.
Referee's whistle blew. I don't know what the call is. The referee's whistle blew. The call I'm not sure of, but it looks like we may not have gotten the goal there as the kickoff for Murray.
So obviously there was some interference there in front, but truthfully, while it does suck for Carter Hunter to not get his first goal of the season right there, I think they're okay with the amount they've gotten. It's not going to cripple their chances of winning this game, as we have a player down here for Red Deer.
Again, more of these players clutching their legs. The heat and everything probably is making this even worse for them. But he looks like he's in some serious pain as the trainer comes out to check in on the Red Deer player.
And running for 90 minutes in 30-degree heat is no joke. It's not an easy thing to do. As they'll check on him and make sure that he's all right. And he's going to get some assistance getting to his feet here as he goes off. And we've seen too many of those today, and it's never good to see.
No.
Especially this late in the game, as time has already expired. Just terrible.
Looks like it's his left leg. Hate to see it. It's his first game back out in ACAC sports, and now has to get helped off the field and to the bench, I'm assuming, where hopefully he'll get checked up and hopefully he'll be okay.
Red Deer setting up now as play resumes. I'm sure we're going to get a very small amount of extra time here, but we'll wait to see how much time we get as that ball goes out of bounds, and as we get a little bit of fighting here.
With the way this game has gone, it honestly doesn't surprise me that we're getting this amount of altercation between players. Referees and other teammates had to dissolve the issue, and as we'll hopefully get this game back underway.
And emotions are obviously really high in any game that has this level of injuries in it. Murray makes the good save off of that long kick. Ends up deep in the far right end here. He'll have to spin back. The Kings get ready for a corner kick. We're still in extra time here as we wait to see how long is left in the game. Be a good save there by Greco, jumping up on it. So he corrects his post and gets ready to get back underway. The Kings pushing up on offense here. David with it. Ends up putting it off the back of the foot of Finn LeBlanc and out of bounds. As we're going to get ready for another throw-in. Pushing up now, that's Fernandez. He has Red Deer's 1 goal on this one. And that will do it for your men's soccer home opener here on Cohos Commons Field. Final score, 5-1. As the SAIT Trojans pull out a massive win here to start off the year.
Both teams played extremely well. Trojans showing once again their dominance. Red Deer not backing down from the fight. So respect for both teams, I'll say that. And we'll be waiting here to hear back for the players of the game.
And a lot of options here today in a game with a lot of high scoring. I think for the Trojans, I have my pick, but I'm going to ask you anyway. I'm assuming you have the same one. Who do you have for player of the game for the Trojans?
Our captain, the hat trick scoring captain of the day. He will be 100% my pick. And for the visiting Kings, yes, he may have been scored on 5 times, but Murray, like, my God, what some amazing saves by Murray today.
And you know what? Even with 5 goals being scored on him, with the amount of shots he had on, I bet when we look at the stat sheets at the end of the day, he's still going to have a good save percentage. I do not even have a guess on how many saves he had to make today. The fact that only 5 ended up behind him is just insanely impressive and shows how incredible of a goaltender he is and the performance he just put on here today. And we saw Red Deer got to see that all season last year with his 4-1-1 season. And this is a very good start for him to continue to do more of that as the SAIT Trojans give a quick wave for their fans in the crowd who came out here on a Saturday to watch their team play. As we get a quick handshake line before we get ready for players of the game. And it looks like slowly we're going to see both teams get ready to line up for players of the game. And no shocker there. Brian Murray, incredible game for him. Very, very well deserved. And he was without a doubt the best player on that King squad. Well, there you go, Jack. 2 for 2.
Yes, sir. Like I said, Mitchell hat trick in his first game of the season, and Murray stopping so many goals that should have gone in, but he was just an incredible goaltender. May have let 5 in, but that should not dissuade from how amazing he played today.
And I think this is just a sign of how exciting both of these teams are going to be as the season goes on. As that 5-1 score does not tell you the whole story about this game, as I think it was a lot closer than you might expect. But thank you so much for tuning in all day. I've been Simon Shaskovsky, joined by Jack Rosa. Once again, you've been watching the men's soccer and women's soccer home opener. Make sure to have yourself a good night.